Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we are going to be having a look at the ZikZ 605R. Now, if you recognize this truck and it brings back memories of MudRunner and the original spin tires, you're not alone, because it brings back tons of memories and tons of nostalgia for me as well. And if you've seen this truck previously on one of my recent live streams that I did about Phase 4, you'll already be slightly familiar with it. But in this video, we're going to be doing a deep dive on everything that we can currently do with this truck, and we're going to take an in-depth look also at its driving dynamics and also its capabilities off-road. Now, as you can clearly see, it is not fully textured yet, although it's close. It's just not fully there right now. That's because we are taking a look at this truck in the public test server, and we are looking at an in-progress version of Phase 4. So let's go ahead and fire up the 605R and see what it's all about. Oh, come on. All right, it takes a second to fire up. But you know what I can really see this thing being perfect for? The mission where you actually have to haul a rocket. And yes, I am not kidding you on that one. You will be hauling a rocket in Phase 4. Now, let's go ahead and check out the engines. We have a base engine, which gives us an A- power to weight rating. Then we have an intermediate engine, which gives us an A. And then we have a top-end engine, which gives us an S, which is really impressive for a vehicle of this size, this weight, and this tall of tires, frankly. So we're going to go ahead and go with the top engine, the S engine. And then we've got 3 gearbox options: special, fine-tune, and advanced special. Now, also keep in mind, at this phase in the PTS, there could be additional features that could come to this truck in the future, but as it sits right now, these are the features that are available to this truck on the PTS currently. Now, if we have any other parts that become available, I will actually make a pinned comment in the description, or actually in the comment section of this video, and let you guys know what those additional features are. So let's see, we're going to go ahead and go with the fine-tune transmission. And we currently really have only one suspension option, but it's not like it needs another suspension option. And also, we currently only have one tire option, and that is the 61-inch ZHM mud tires. And they should be plenty capable. So, winch-wise, we're going to go with the advanced heavy. And snorkel-wise, you have 2 options, but really they're in the exact same place. So I would always end up going with the $1,500 one over the $2,300 one. And since they're, like I said, in the same place as before, or as each other, it really doesn't make sense to spend the extra money on the flat caps unless you just prefer them visually. So in terms of frame add-ons, we have saddle high, no saddle low for this thing. We also have the Avto heavy crane, and then the sideboard bed and the trunk repair supplies, which can go on the roof. We're going to go ahead and do those anyway, because that just makes the most sense. And let's see. But you can only use those, it seems, with the saddle high, not the other stuff. I gotcha. Okay. Now, if you were to do the sideboard bed, you could not do the... Okay, I got it. All right, that makes sense, actually. Now, I will say, for something running a sideboard bed, this seems super, super, super over the top, and that is why I freaking love it. But for this test, we're going to go with saddle high and trunk repair supplies. Now, exhaust-wise, we're going to do the out-rolled exhaust, which just looks cool, frankly. And then miscellaneous, we've got quite a bit here, actually. Quite a bit. So let me do the, let's see, dark slant sun visor. Ooh, definitely not the chrome cap. That's got a lot of sun glare. And then now we're going to do the, the crossbar looks really good. But I also like the light cage. The light cage looks awesome because it's got a hitch and a winch right on top of it. So we'll go that route. And then we really only have one option for wheels. So we're just going to stick with what we've got. And I'm sure color options and interior customization will come in the future, but we don't have access to those right now. So now let's go ahead and leave the garage and see what this thing is all about capability-wise. Oh, come on. Come on, back it up. There you go. Dude, this thing is so good. It's so freaking good. Like, if I go into the trailer store, by the way, it can pretty much haul whatever, both pull-behinds and saddle-high semi-trailers, but we're not going to pull anything from there. No. Well, actually, we might. We might. Let me get the 8-unit Super Heavy, and then let me see if it'll actually let me spawn in the rocket as a cargo from the loading area rather than having to use the dev tools to do it. So let's see. Super Heavy, which is what the rocket basically sits on. And then, let me see if it'll make that turn. The turning radius isn't the greatest in the world, but it's getting there. It's not, you know, it's not horrible. All right, let's see. Stage 2 fuel tank. That's going to be a new Phase 4 setup. That's going to be 3 units. Obviously not textured yet. We've got, let's see, what else? Where is my rocket? Now, the rocket may be a proprietary trailer, though, so we might end up having to use the trailer itself for that. Stage 3 fuel tank. Yeah, okay, so let's see, actually. Oh, man, I wish we could load 3 fuel tanks. That would be so freaking cool if we could load 3 fuel tanks. Either way, these are pieces of the rocket, and I've shown the rocket on stream, but I haven't actually showed the fuel tanks, although the fuel tanks are kind of silly looking right now because they literally just look like untextured cylinders, and so literally right now it just looks like we're just carrying around untextured cylinders, and so our truck might look a little silly, or at least our cargo might look a little silly, but at least we're having a go at it. Now, it is actually some really interesting new cargo, though. I love how they haven't even smoothed out the edges yet. The edges are still very much a work in progress, but man, with that S-level engine, this thing moves. It absolutely moves out. Let's see how it does if it... Ooh, does that have working lights yet? Yes, it does! And the lights on the rack work with the lights on the front of it, too. Let's go to the top. Whoop. Oh, God. I deliberately went on the edge to see if it would roll over or not, and it doesn't look like it's going to. It actually looks like it's going to hold strong right in the middle of the river. That's really impressive. That's what we're going to need in terms of Phase 4, because you guys, once again, if you've seen the Phase 4 maps on any of my live streams, bro, you know how gnarly those can be. You know how absolutely freaking gnarly those maps can be. What a setup, by the way. What a freaking setup. This... Again, I don't know about y'all, but this is probably my favorite 8x8 of all time. From this game series, at least, favorite 8x8. And it's just, it's like the iconic 8x8. It's what introduced me to trucks like this, you know? And I know that I'm getting kind of like really, really animated about this truck, but it genuinely gets me excited because this was the truck that got me into trucks like this back in the original Spin Tires. This is the truck that basically sparked that for me. And so we're actually going to take that trailer off now, and we're going to run some dedicated off-road tests, like, for example, the mud bogs. Now, in this setup, it's pretty much able to make its way through just about anything you put in front of it, and it actually has a handy-dandy spare wheel as well. And the only thing that I don't really care for is the fact that if you were using the sideboard bed, you wouldn't be able to have the spare wheel. So that could be maybe a downside for some people, but it all depends on your personal preferences. Now, if we put it in high, it just rages through the first mud pit. It absolutely freaking just rages right through it. Let's try the first mud lane. Oh my God. Bro, it drives through this stuff like a mod. That's the crazy part. I'm almost wondering if there's going to be people out there that are going to call this thing OP. Because it just freaking, like, destroys this stuff. And this is a vanilla truck. What? This is a vanilla truck just ripping through these mud lanes. Absolutely wild. You know what? I never took the clutch out in high. I never felt the need to. I just sent it, and it worked. It just works, man. And once again, I also know that this interior isn't textured yet, but even so, it looks amazing. And look at the cord with the CB. Oh my God, it's just like dangling and moving around down there. It's great. Let's see what we can do in the dips obstacle. I'm gonna go just a little bit of the way up with the fine tune. Come on. Now, one of the things is the suspension is a little bit stiff. You don't have a ton of wheel travel, but that's really because, I mean, you don't really need wheel travel when you have 8 wheels and freaking 61-inch tires. I mean, I guess wheel travel always helps in any scenario, but this guy doesn't really need it. You know, it will roll over just about anything in its way, no matter what it is. Although I gotta say, having the fine-tune box with this definitely helps it along. It really helps it along. Because there are some times when, you know, low minus is a little bit too low, center or low plus is a bit high, and being able to be in between that is one of the biggest advantages that you could absolutely ever give this thing. And I think that when I drive this in campaign, I'll definitely be running the fine-tune. The fine-tune is just exactly what this thing needs. Now let's see. If we were to go into... I'll leave it on fine-tune. Because when we hit the bridge jump, I mean, we're gonna let gravity take it anyway, right? So why, you know, why change out the gearbox if we're gonna let the freaking gravity just take this thing over? Because it is very heavy. It's plenty heavy enough to let gravity take over and just let it freaking send itself right off the end of the bridge. And even with the fine tune, 5th gear is not that bad. Let's see what the horn sounds like. Okay, I got it. It's similar to some of the other 8x8 horns in the game, but it's not a bad horn, so I don't dislike it by any means. I do not dislike it by any means whatsoever. Make a quick left. Y'all already know, when we make this quick left, things are about to get very real very quickly when we make this left. All right. I'm going to go ahead and hit the horn to make sure nobody's at the bottom. Not that there would be anybody, but all right, here we go. Letting gravity take it. God, it looks like a bus in here when you're driving it on the inside. Oh my God. All right. And hit it. Boom. Oh my, what? I'm just gonna save it with that little bit of a winch from the side. Yo, this thing absolutely monstered every obstacle. And to this day, I will say this is still, this is best 8x8. This 8x8 is best boy. 100% this 8x8 is best boy. And if you think this is the best 8x8, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.